You know, beautiful people, this quote is so fitting for this situation. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. When you talk about this rematch between Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev, what did Alex Pereira do wrong in that first fight that costed him the light heavyweight championship of the world and costed him his incredible win streak? It was because the man was anticipating and he was so worried about that takedown, he didn't let his hands go. And he completely changed his entire style. He wanted to prove a point that Ankalaev couldn't take him down. But that led to him not letting his hands go, not letting his kicks go, and most importantly, he lost that killer instinct. I mean, the real and the old Alex Pereira that knocked out everyone and that became an absolute legend and icon in the kickboxing world and in the combat world in its entirety was because the man was so aggressive, he was so ferocious and violent and reckless at times. But he's able to be reckless because the man is so powerful and his presence is absolutely incredible. When you talk about a combat setting now, the man just released his final sparring session, and let me tell you, beautiful people, this is a game changer. The man is sparring like an absolute madman. Kamikaze is the fitting word for his new style. Not only is he bringing back the Alex Pereira, but he's going to have to be more aggressive than ever. Not just to win this fight, but most importantly, to gain the respect of Magomed Ankalaev. I mean, listen, Ankalaev now, he's so confident after dominating Pereira and after becoming a champion, especially after silencing all the doubters. And most importantly, proving the UFC wrong and finally becoming a champion. Because let's be honest, the UFC did not want to give Ankalaev the shot. You can say because the man is boring, you can say that because the man doesn't have the biggest fan base, because the man this, that, whatever. But one thing you can't say is that he can't fight. One thing that you can't say is that he's not a winner. A winner is who Magomed Ankalaev is. The man is a winner. When you talk about fighting adversity, being inactive, being active, rematches, underdog, favorite, whatever situation you can think of, more times than not, the man wins. He might not do it in the most exciting fashion, but actually, in that last fight versus Pereira, he tried to make the fight exciting. He was on the front foot. He was attacking, he was striking, he was going to Pereira's body and head. While on the other hand, Pereira was the one who made the fight boring. He's the one who kept backing up all night long. He's the one who tried to prove a point and tried to sweep and take down Ankalaev. So, in all honesty, I fully blame Alex Pereira for that last fight. I mean, it was absolutely horrible. Before I made this video, I rewatched the fight in 2x speed because the fight was, let me tell you, beautiful people, it was not exciting. It was extremely underwhelming, boring to say the least, and not because of Ankalaev, that is the bottom line. It was simply because of Alex Pereira. But with the way that the man's sparring now, it's definitely a game changer, and the man is coming to take Ankalaev's head off. And especially with that theory exchange that they had at the UFC PI, you can tell that Pereira is fed up. You can tell that Pereira is blaming himself for Ankalaev being a champion, and Pereira is coming with a kamikaze style, kill or be killed, because he knows. And not just him, we all know that it's now or never, that it's do or die for Alex Pereira. If he loses this fight, he's done. He's done. 2-fight losing streak at nearly 40 years old. It's definitely not going to be uphill. If anything, it's all downhill from here if he loses this fight. And especially after losing to Ankalaev, where has the man been? I mean, Pereira used to be so active. We always used to see him sparring this guy, that guy. He was everywhere. He was traveling. But after that fight, it feels like he lost his love for the game. And he did say that he was injured, but who's not injured coming into any high level fight? Because you're sparring elite level guys, training non-stop, probably on a calorie deficit, so you're definitely not going to be 100%. You're definitely not going to be feeling like the same way you're feeling when you wake up in a resort in a holiday by the beach. You're definitely going to be waking up bruised, battered, and simply beat up, mashed up, bashed up, whatever you can think of. This is the life of a modern day gladiator, beautiful people. So even though he was injured in his last fight, but I didn't really make much of it. Because who's not injured going into all these high profile fights? But, listen, Alex Pereira is going to change things up. And you love to see it. Now, do I favor him to beat Ankalaev? No. Because simply Ankalaev showed that he has the correct game plan to stifle Alex Pereira. And styles make fights. Pereira, he does well against everyone. But he does better versus orthodox fighters than southpaws. And it's not really his fault. Listen, 99% of fighters do better against orthodox fighters versus southpaws. It is very, very tricky to fight a southpaw. That said, Alex Pereira can definitely win this fight, especially if he pushes the action and especially if he demands and gets Ankalaev's respect early. What makes Alex Pereira so special? There's one punch that not many people talk about. It's that jab to the body. And after he starts landing it consistently, he feints the jab to the body and comes up top with the left hook. And that is when he gets his unbelievable knockouts. So but listen, it is going to be harder to land the stab to the body, the jab to the body versus a southpaw. And especially a southpaw like Ankalaev, because you see a lot of southpaws giving up all their advantages from their fighting style. But Ankalaev definitely fights like a southpaw, like a pure southpaw. His narrow stance, his punch arsenal, his check hook, straight backhand, especially when he lines you up, that front kick. Listen, not only is Ankalaev a southpaw, but he knows how to use it in every sense of the word. But when you're dealing with a dangerous puncher like Pereira, he can end the fight at any given second. And if Ankalaev is not on his A game, he's going to get knocked out in this fight. But even though, listen, if Alex Pereira comes in with the same game plan that he had in the first fight, he's going to lose. If he's going to change things up, which I'm assuming he will based on that sparring session, he might still lose. But he's definitely going to give himself a better chance at winning this fight. And it is very hard to beat Ankalaev if you actually think about it. Like, if you look at the man's style, the man is so economical with his shot selection. The man is so intelligent and he's so aware inside a combat setting that he doesn't really make a lot of mistakes. And that is why he doesn't do anything fancy. Why? Is because the man is risking and calculating the level of danger from the very first second of the fight to the very last second of the fight. But how do you beat someone like Ankalaev? Chaos. Chaos is the fitting word when you talk about the antidote for Ankalaev's style. Someone like Yuri Prohaska, I believe, even though he would get taken down easier than Pereira, but I believe his style purely seismic fights beautiful people. A switch hitter like him, a dynamic fighter like him, and a reckless and a brave fighter like him, and a powerful fighter like him gives Ankalaev all the trouble in the world. But he's not fighting Prohaska, he's fighting Pereira. Now Pereira can definitely win this fight, but the man gotta take chances. No risk, no story. No risk, no glory. He's gotta risk it all in this fight. And like I said, based on that sparring session that he just posted, he's definitely looking to risk it all. He gotta stay on the front foot. The moment you see Alex Pereira in this fight on the back foot, the moment you know that he's in trouble. He can definitely circle, but even if he circles towards Ankalaev's right, his check hook won't be as effective. And again, that is the problem when you're dealing with a southpaw. Not only Are you worried? Or not only is Alex Pereira worried about Ankalaev, but Alex Pereira can't also go. I mean, listen, when you talk about going to the body of a southpaw, going to the body of a southpaw at mid to outside range, you're asking to be countered. But in the pocket, you can definitely put that violent left hook and place it to the body, and he can learn a thing or two from the Mexican monster, boxing superstar David Benavidez. Whenever you watch David Benavidez fight a southpaw, you always see David Benavidez going to the body. Why? Is because he gets close in an intelligent way, he closes the distance, and when he's on the inside, he knows how to handle himself and he knows how to defend himself, most importantly, extremely well. It is a very, very, very tough task for Alex Pereira, and to be honest, I would love to see the man get the knockout and reclaim his belt and sail off into the sunset as a champion, because I'm going to be honest, even though I love Ankalaev also, but the division is definitely in safer hands, and the division is definitely more exciting, more talked about when Pereira is the champion, when Pereira is knocking these guys out left and right. Hopefully, just hopefully, Alex Pereira can get the job done. It's going to be a tough task, but his game plan that he's coming in right now, this is his best chance.